If you're looking for a structured, academically challenging maths class for home educators, then this might be exactly what you've been searching for. My name's Scott, I'm a fully qualified maths teacher from the UK and the founder of Maths Logos. And in September 2026, we're excited to launch our secondary fundamentals class designed for home educated children. In this video, I'll explain who our secondary fundamentals class is for, how the classes work, and what content we'll cover. Let's start with who our secondary fundamentals class is for. At Maths Logos, we believe that education is the God-given responsibility of the parents, with a purpose, to bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. We partner with parents to provide a maths education shaped by the Christian worldview, where classes are led by a Christian teacher and the Christian worldview can be expressed naturally when relevant to do so. But what does that look like in practice? Firstly, God is not irrelevant to mathematics. God created a structured and logical world, and mathematics helps us to understand that world. We could think of mathematics as a language that reveals how God's world works. Secondly, having a Christian worldview in our classes means that we aim to create a classroom environment that is respectful and one that encourages children to work hard. The goal there is that children take ownership of their learning and make the most of their God-given potential. Colossians 3:23 says the following: "Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men." Including a Christian worldview in our lessons doesn't mean that we spend our maths lessons studying the Bible. Studying the Bible is an important part of Christian education, but parents send their children to us to learn maths. And so our responsibility to parents is to provide their children with very high quality maths lessons. This quote from Martin Luther captures this principle really well. The Christian shoemaker does his duty not by putting little crosses on the shoes, but by making good shoes, because God is interested in good craftsmanship. We warmly welcome non-Christian families as long as they're comfortable with the Christian worldview being presented in class when appropriate. Our secondary fundamentals class is for children who already have a strong number sense. That means children who are confident with their times tables and number bonds, confident with their fractions, whether that's simplifying fractions or fraction operations, and confident with column multiplication and long division. And to help parents make that decision of whether the class is right for their child or not, I've created a free 10-minute baseline assessment, which you can find in the description of this video. Schools usually group students by age, and there are very good practical reasons for that, but if we group students only by age, we don't account for their current academic knowledge. As a teacher, I've seen 11-year-old students who are far more mathematically competent than students who are 5 or even 6 years older than them. And so for that reason, we encourage parents to use our baseline assessment as their primary means of assessing whether the class is right for their child or not. That being said, some general age guidance can still be really helpful. The secondary fundamentals class is for high attaining students in UK years 7 and 8, so that would be ages 11 to 13, or it's for confident students in UK years 9 to 10, which would be ages 13 to 15. So what content do we cover in this class? Well, our secondary fundamentals class follows the UK national curriculum, and we cover all of Key Stage 3 mathematics and the majority of Key Stage 4 mathematics, excluding some higher only tier topics. The class is delivered over 2 years, and it's designed to create strong foundations for children to go on to study GCSE higher content later on. But this class is also suitable for US and international families because it focuses on core math skills that are going to be essential in any mathematics curriculum. Children progress through 5 units: number, algebra, ratio and proportion, geometry and measure, and probability and statistics. We take a mastery approach throughout our curriculum, which means that topics are covered fully before moving on. You can find a detailed breakdown of what we study in our class handbook. The link for that is in the description of the video. Everything your child needs for our secondary fundamentals class is found in one place, our lesson booklets. The first section of our lesson booklets is what we call prior knowledge exercises, and these are designed to prepare children for their live lesson that week. These are completed before each live lesson, and they either take the form of a short video or written explanation, followed by questions so children can apply their learning. Our prior knowledge exercises allow students to work at their own pace, take ownership of their own learning, and come to class ready and prepared to engage. As a teacher, over time, I've become more and more convinced that learning to learn should be a key part of education. Dorothy Sayers wrote the following: For the sole true end of education is simply this: to teach men how to learn for themselves, and whatever instruction fails to do this is effort spent in vain. Next comes the live lessons. There are 2 of these every week, and each live lesson lasts 60 minutes. The first 15 minutes of the live lesson are spent reviewing difficulties from previous work. We then focus our time on problem-solving type questions, which students are going to be very much prepared for because of their prior knowledge exercises. Children are expected to answer questions, share their ideas with others, and solve problems. Our classes have a maximum of 15 students, which means the learning remains personal and interactive. Next, we move on to independent practice. After each lesson, children complete structured practice questions at their own pace. The work gradually moves from fluency practice, which just means getting used to doing the skill, to more challenging problem-solving tasks. Any questions children struggle with can be passed on to the teacher to be reviewed in the next live lesson. After independent practice, we have what we call retrieval homework, which is where students revisit topics that they've already learned. And the reason we do this is because it strengthens long-term memory and it helps students to stop forgetting things they've already learned. The final part of our lesson booklets is assessment and feedback. At the end of each unit, children complete an assessment designed to highlight areas for improvement. Each assessment comes with a second copy so they can try the assessment again and improve their understanding. Our lesson booklets come with full parent solutions for every part. This gives parents the opportunity to be involved in their child's learning at every single stage along the way. Thank you for watching and learning about our secondary fundamentals class. If you're unsure if your child is ready or not, we'd really encourage you to try our free 10-minute baseline assessment. We'll email you the results and let you know if the class is a good fit for your child or not.